The MLB season has reached the All-Star break, and it looks like we're in for a pretty fun second half. So today what I'm going to be doing in this video is ranking. I'm going to be giving each team a grade for their first half of their 2019 season. A letter grade. We'll be going through how each team has performed. Now, the home run derbies tonight, which I'm excited for. There's not like a whole video I thought of on doing for the home run derby, but I will say my pick is Josh Bell to win tonight. Do I hope he wins? I'd like to see Acuna win, but that probably won't happen. I'll go for Bell since that's who I picked to win. He's facing off with Acuna in the first round anyway. But let's get into this good video. It was a pretty good idea, I think, that I thought of. Based on my voice, you guys probably think this is like a early morning video. It's actually after 4 in the afternoon on a, well, it's sunny now, but it was like a bad day. But it's just that I haven't been talking today, so that's why my voice sounds like it does in the morning. But please leave a like once you start enjoying this video, or right now if you're super supportive. And guys, please, I beg you, comment down below your thoughts on my grades, and if it's arguments, if it's agreement, if it's appreciation for this video, or if, I don't even know, just a thought that you have, just please comment. Let's talk down in the comments below. Let's get into it now. We start in the AL East. We'll be going in order from first to last place for each division. And for the New York Yankees, I will be giving them an A+ because they're 57-31, a 6.5 game lead in the division. They're sitting pretty. I'm not worried about the division. They have to hold off the Astros and the Twins, which I'm worried about to a lesser extent, for the top seed in the AL. The division is pretty much a wrap, but I'm giving them an A+. If they were pretty healthy, this is where I would expect them to be. Maybe not with such a cushion, but that's thanks to the Red Sox. But this is about the record I would have expected if they were pretty healthy. But they were so unhealthy that I gotta give that plus next to the A, because it's just very impressive what it's insane, honestly. I thought they were gonna be a 500 team all the way until like mid-June. Then they would start taking off a little bit. No, they're 26 above 500 here at the break. Next up, the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to give them an A. They're 52-39, 6.5 games below the Yankees. They're having an interesting season, a good season, since they've been in playoff position the entire year. I'm not going to give them an A+, since, I mean, it's not like a shocker if they make the playoffs. They had a chance. They were one of those wild card contenders all along. But I had them in that range of above 500, but not quite playoff. And they've shown that they are playoff. It's not a guarantee yet that they'll make it. They're in a close race for the wild card. They hold the top spot with there's 5 teams fighting for 2 spots in the AL wild card. But the Rays likely playoffs. Charlie Morton instead of Blake Snell has become the ace of that staff, and they're having a pretty solid season. Third place is the Red Sox. I'm going to give them a C. They're 49-41. The story of their season has been how it's a letdown after a World Series season, that it's a pretty disappointing season, but you look, they've played fine after that. I mean, it's felt a little lousy because of that feeling of a disappointing season, but they've been fine ever since that 2-8 or 3-8 start, whatever it was. They really have been okay. Like, they are 2 games behind a playoff spot in the wild card, but they've jumped to 8 above 500, so let's give them props for that. I think they'll get around, though I don't see this team taking off, but I see them as a team, potential wild card berth, likely, not definitely, that they're gonna make a run at it. We'll see. The Blue Jays are in 4th place. what a pathetic season they're having. 4th place is right where we expected them, but we didn't expect 34 and 57. They were a team that was hanging in with a decent record through a rebuild, but oof, they've had a really bad season. They might lose around 100 games this year. 5th is the Orioles, 27 and 62. They get F. The hope was that they would start some of their players on their squad last year would start improving this year, and they haven't. I don't think they're even at a 50-win pace, looking just like last year for them. Maybe they'll get to 50 wins, and some of those players will start improving while most of the league is already developed into being what they are. Oriole players could start improving, but not significantly. So that's your AL East. Into the AL Central, where the Minnesota Twins get an A+ for their 56 and 33 season. They sit atop the AL Central with one of the best records in baseball. Now, a lot of people thought this would be another year where the Indians would easily defeat the Twins to win the AL Central. I didn't think that. I said Indians-Twins will be a pretty good matchup at the top of that Central. I predicted Indians to win it by 2 games, but it doesn't quite look that way. Twins, great season for them. I couldn't have imagined them. For me to give an A+, their record has to look pretty weird. So, I couldn't really imagine the Twins at 56 and 33. 2nd place, though, the Indians. I'll give them a B-. You guys might think it's a disappointing season for the Indians. Actually not. They're on pace to win right about what they had last year. And when I thought they would go down a little, so did most people. But they're 50 and 38. And now they're only 5.5 games back of Minnesota. So we might have a race in that division. The Twins might extend a little after the break and end up casually winning the division like it was looking like. But the Indians might actually make a good race here. They're 5.5 games back. They were once 10 or 11. I think they were 11. 3rd place, the Chicago White Sox at 42 and 44. I'm going to give them an A- for being a decent team this season. It seems as though a lot of years had passed where us fans predicted the White Sox to have a pretty big improvement, but it just hasn't happened. They've had a really atrocious record every year, and after a 100-loss season last year, 42 and 44 is definitely good. They are 7 games back of the wild card, so I wouldn't say they're in a race. They're not, but a good goal for them would be to try and stay right around 500 all year and try and compete next year. 4th place, well, the Royals and Tigers, the Royals are the most games back, but they're listed as higher in the standings than the Tigers because they have a better percentage. For some reason, they played 6 more games than the Tigers, but they get an F. They're 30 and 61. Yeah, they had a 58 and 104 season last year. You look to improve some players and build on that. Well, no. Guess what? They're on pace to be just worse than 54 and 108. They're also an F. The Tigers, 28 and 57. They are pitiful. I wish they didn't exist. So that's your AL Central. Another year of bad bottom at this division. It's 2 horrific teams instead of 3 this year since the White Sox have been playing better. But this year we might have a bit of a race at the top of that division. AL West, this is one of the divisions that is over when it comes to who's winning the division. The Houston Astros I'll give them a B+ for a 57 and 33 start to their season. They sit at 2nd in the American League, which is where they finished the past 2 years. So they're about where you would expect them to be, but I'll add that plus to the B. I'd say B is if you're right about where expected, which the Astros are in the standings, but I'll put that plus on because they've done it with significant injuries. George Springer has been hurt. Alex Bregman's the only one who stayed healthy. He's had a decent season. Carlos Correa has had an injury-plagued season, I believe. Altuve definitely has. He's not even good, but still here they are. And who's their other big bop? What a signing in Michael Brantley that was. They have another big bop. They have Altuve, I said he was hurt. Correa. Yeah, Altuve, Correa, and Springer have all dealt with injuries. Bregman and Brantley have been healthy. Yordan Alvarez has come onto the scene. Houston, yeah, right about where I would think. Easy division title. They're having a pretty good season. But now, can they catch the Yankees? Because I don't feel strongly about the Yankees' chances of winning at Minute Maid Park. And I feel like if the Astros are able to claim home field advantage for the ALCS against the Yankees, then they will take a 2-0 lead. With Verlander and Cole at home, I don't see the Yankees beating that. Second place in that division, the Oakland Athletics get a B+ for a 50-41 season. Oakland has kind of been on one of those runs. They started at 19-25, and since then they've gone 31-16, which they sit 7.5 behind Houston, but obviously they're not catching the Astros. Let's be real here. If you think of that as a race, you're tripping. The Oakland A's are 1.5 games behind the Cleveland Indians for the second wild card spot. They're having a pretty good season. I expect the takeoff to continue, honestly. I don't know if I would pick them or not to get a playoff spot, being that some big names like the Red Sox and Indians are right in the race along with the Rays. But I might pick them. I think they can win right around 90 games, maybe even more. So they're having a good season. The Texas Rangers are going to be my third A+ that I'm going to give out. Who would have thought Texas would be 48-42? Now, give me props. I wasn't one of those people that thought Texas would be like 66-96. I never thought of them as that bad of a team. I had them at 72-90, finishing in 4th place. Most people thought they would be in 5th place. But A+ because who would have thought? They are 3 games back, and perhaps the All-Star break's coming at a good time for them. They've lost 6 of their past 8 games, but they still sit in a pretty good spot. 4th place team, the Angels, 45-46, C+. It's another year of mediocrity. Just really disappointing that they're medium again. I mean, maybe I'm a little happy for them that they are actually hanging around 500. I thought they'd maybe drop a bit below this year. But, hey, if they get Ohtani pitching next year, maybe Trout will return to the playoffs sooner than later. It's not happening this year, though. 6.5 behind in the wild card. 5th place Mariners. I am so proud of myself for this pick. I actually did have them finishing behind the Rangers. I got so much hate for putting them at 67-95, but look at them. They're right around there. It looks like that's what they're going to finish at. I give them a D. They're 39-55. On to the National League, where in the East, the Atlanta Braves receive an A for a 54-37 mark at the All-Star game, holding a 6-game lead in their division. Atlanta, I expected you to fall off a little from last year, but here they are, atop the division. It looks like it's their division again. This was the Phillies' division in the first couple of months. Philadelphia controlled it in the first 2 months, but June was when this changed. It totally shifted from Phillies to Braves. Now they have control at the All-Star break. It looks like they're not only going to get the division crown again, but it looks like they're going to receive the 2 seed this year in the NL and play with home field in the NLDS, so that should be exciting. Second place, the Washington Nationals, my favorite team in the National League this year. They are 47-42. I give them a B. I never thought they would end up with a first half grade this high when they were at 19-31, but here they are. They've won 28 of their past 39 ball games, and they actually lead the wild card race. They are in first place in the wild card game. Their great rotation, has really been doing what it has been supposed to do lately, and that's why they are where they are. They currently host the Phillies in the wild card game. Speaking of them, they're 47-43. They receive a C. It's actually been, they were off to like exciting start, then it just leveled out to okay, solid, not an amazing record, but we're holding down first place. This looks to be our division, but now, barely holding the second wild card spot. They're 6.5 behind Atlanta, and it's been a disappointing ride. They're only a 500 team ever since their 4-0 start to the season now. They really played disappointing baseball lately. The Mets, they get an F, 40-50. I was really rooting for them when they were like in that boat where like early the first couple weeks of the season, I thought they would definitely be a contending team. If they didn't make the playoffs, then they would miss by a couple of games. At first, I thought my 86-76 prediction was too low, but now it goes down as way too high, as they're in a pathetic spot. I was really rooting for them a few weeks ago when they were just like a couple below, trying to hang on to their season, but it's blown away from them. Even if they play, I wouldn't be shocked if they play 500 or a little above when it's too late like they did last year. But especially considering they have a solid team, just that bullpen blows so many games. If they saved, I saw something where if they saved 75% of their games, they would be the second best team in the league behind the Dodgers. But they get an F because these are obviously based on expectations. The Marlins get a B-. I mean, this is about what we expected from Miami, 33-55. Their starting rotation, though, has been one of the better ones in baseball. Well, I actually expected them to play a bit worse. Like, they're about on 100 loss pace. I expected it to be this atrocious 56-106 season. That hasn't really happened. They're, I guess, hanging in there, you could say, as in not having an atrocious-looking record. So, obviously, they're going nowhere. And they're still the worst team in the NL, but it's been, I guess, not bad considering what I thought. Welcome to the NL Central. This is a division that is, like, filled with disappointment. Like, here's how I thought it would play out. There would be, I thought that in the NL East, there would be 4 teams contending for it, but all with rather low records. In the NL Central, it would be 3 teams going for it, but that division being better as a whole due to having no really bad teams and having those 3 teams with actually all in the 90s. That's absolutely not the way it's gone. The Braves over in the NL East are 17 above 500, whereas the top team in this division is 4 above 500. But it's actually going to be, it's the most mediocre division in baseball, and the last place team is 4.5 games back. So let's talk about it. The Chicago Cubs have the lead by half a game. I'm going to their game on Friday against the Pirates, which is an exciting matchup, I guess. I still think of the Cubs as way better than Pittsburgh, but, that's not how it's gone. Cubs a C+, because I guess it's not a horrific season. I figured they'd win like 91 games this year, but they're not even on pace to do that. They're on pace to, I can't give them too bad a grade because they're winning their division, for crying out loud. My voice today, I don't like it at all. It can't be too bad, but it's still, their individual team is having a pretty disappointing season. The Brewers, same story. a C. We won't add the plus to the C since they're not winning their division. And after an NLCS appearance, their fans had extremely high hopes of winning in the high 90s. I had them at, did I have them at 92 or 94 wins? I had them at 92 wins. But they're on pace for like they're on pace for like 83 and 79, 84 and 78, that type of season. They're right in the wild card race, right in the division race, 0.5 back of each. But again, individually, it's been a disappointing season. Hope for the second half, though. The Cardinals, a D plus, being that they're like a 500 team and have been a 500 team. Like the Brewers and Cubs, just recently, they have been on a downward trend to get almost down to 500, but the Cards have really been around 500 a good portion of this season. See, I can't give them like a F or a D minus because they're only 2 games back of their division and 2 games back of the wild card. It's just crazy. But D plus, I'm so mad. I predicted this team to win 93 games and win the division. It's absolutely not that type of season. Winning the division is still in the conversation, but it would probably be one of those things where it's like an 88-win division title, which we haven't seen from anybody in a few years. But this division might have that type of thing if no one goes on a run and wins in the 90s. 4th place, the Pirates, B+. This is one team that actually hasn't been disappointing. I had them falling off quite a bit this year, going 74 and 88, but here they sit 2.5 behind in the division, 1 game under 500 at 44 and 45, and I still think they will fall off, but I don't want them to. And I'm not saying, this is not ranking. I'm not grading what I predict the rest of their season will look like. Obviously, I'm grading what's happened so far for them, giving them a grade. And 2.5 out of the division in the wild card is certainly a positive for Pirate fans. The Reds get a C for a 41 and 46 start to their season at 4.5 games back. They're slightly disappointing. They're not horrible. No one thought they would be. A lot of people thought they would be average. But see, the thing with the Reds, they always had solid offense but bad pitching. So they go out and get Tanner Roark, Alex Wood, and newly named All-Star Sonny Gray. And the pitchers, though, they're starting to hit now. But it's the pitchers who... No, I'm mistaking. It's the hitters who aren't hitting. Now that they finally have pitching, now their hitters just aren't hitting. I think that's the way it's gone for them. Yeah, they need to get their offense going more. But this is my number 1 division to watch in the second half. I can't wait for this division. All right, last few minutes of me talking with this weird voice this afternoon. The NL West, the Dodgers, got to give them that A+. Everyone expected them to be the best team in the NL besides All Sports News on Instagram, who had the Cubs being 97 and 65. But the Dodgers, yeah, I knew they'd be the best team in the NL easily. And it's not even close. They're 5.5 ahead of the Braves. But Braves aren't going to catch them. Dodgers 60 and 32. The only negative thing there is that they finished with losing 3 straight, but they're obviously going to be fine. Gear up for October. Try not to lose in the World Series this year. Second place is actually the Arizona D-backs. This team has 3 really mediocre teams. I still believe the Rockies are the second best team in this division, but they currently sit at 4th. The D-backs I gave an A-. They were expected to fall off after trading Goldschmidt and not signing A.J. Pollock. But here they are. Part of me is not so surprised that they're still mediocre, but the overall thought is that they're having a good season based on expectations. They sit 1.5 behind in the wild card race, and their division is over. The Dodgers are up by 13.5 games, but Arizona has hope. I don't see it happening, but they've put themselves in a position where they can go on a run and take a playoff spot, even though, again, I don't really see that happening. The Padres, 500, 45-45, another A-. We expected them to take a step forward, but still be a pretty bad team, but they've been an average baseball team all year. When it looked like they've been falling off, they go win a couple games, and then they're right where they were at 500, another team 2 games behind in the wild card hunt. It would shock me to see SD on a scoreboard in October this year, but I guess it's not that far from reality. 4th place, the Rockies, they have fallen below 500. I give them a C-. They were just swept by the D-backs, so Arizona crawled above 500. Colorado shot below 500, and it's been a disappointing season. Now I look good for putting them at 83 and 79, number 16 in my power rankings. Rocky fans and stuff are mad at me for having them too low, but it is right about what they are right now. And I expect them to finish right around 83 and 79. Giants, 41 and 48. I feel like the overall thought of baseball fans when they think of the Giants for a few years now is just utter disappointment. And their front office has been utter disappointment by still using these same guys, not making anything happen. But I'm going to give them a B-. I'm actually impressed that they're hanging in there. I thought this was a year that they would have a lopsidedly bad record and be a 100 loss candidate. But here they are hanging in there, only on pace to lose they're on pace to lose under 90 games, which I'm a bit impressed with. Madison Bumgarner, will he get traded? I'm excited that he's pitching when I go to the Giants and Brewers game Saturday night in Milwaukee, and will it be one of his final starts as a Giant? I just can't get over how weird my voice was in that video. Wow. So deep. Wow. Thanks so much for watching this video. Will I have another video during this All-Star break? Well, probably not, since it would have to be tomorrow, since I won't be home Wednesday and Thursday. Wow. This is a good baseball season. It really is. It's time to enjoy some home run derby, some All-Star game tonight and tomorrow, and then get back to fun business where these teams will compete with each other. Wow. What division am I most excited for? As I told you, the NL Central. I mean, it's hard to not be excited for a division where the last place team is 4.5 games back, and there's 4 teams within 2.5 games. The number 1 race I'm excited for? Well, I'd have to say that one, since it's the matter of a division crown. I'm excited to see if the Indians will put real pressure on the Twins. I'm excited to see how long the Rangers can keep hope. I'm excited to see if the A's will continue their run back to October. I'm excited to see if this is a year where the Boston Red Sox get into October or not. I'm excited to see the AL wildcard race. It doesn't have as many teams as the NL, but for the teams that are in it, it's close. Yeah, will the Indians be a playoff team? There's this thought out there in my head that the Rays might lose their playoff spot. But the NL wildcard race might be the best race of them all. As I said, I might be the most excited for the NL Central, but the NL wildcard races, I might be the most excited of them all. It's the deepest race of them all. You have the San Francisco Giants, 41 and 48. You think of them as a bad team. I'm not saying they're going to compete or get in or anything, but they sit 5.5 games back only. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams, including the teams that hold the spots, that are within 2.5 games of each other. 2 of those 8 teams will get in. See ya.